Hi, it's me again, Jim E. Monahan. I am the Mindful Dude of LYSN, Love Yourself Now. And I want to talk to you today about something that probably is not going to be very easy for me to talk about. I know that I'm, doing LYSN. I'm moving forward, coaching and helping people. And obviously, I am not, the skinny, super Adonis type of guy. So I know I'm overweight. What I can say and how I'm going to talk about weight loss, struggle, shame, different things like that in my own life concerning weight. So I am thankfully now, as of this day, 76 pounds less than I was 2 years ago when I topped at 350 pounds. And the question would be, well, how did you do that? What happened? And I could tell you that I lost that weight because I've been doing roller coaster rides all my life, and I only really like the real ones, not the weight loss one. But I digress. The path was that I finally reawakened my spirituality. I started exploring things, and I started to see how shutting away my spirituality, shutting that side of faith and compassion and forgiveness and love and gratitude, that I shut that out for so long, how it impacted my mental state, definitely my emotional state, and clearly and obviously my physical state. I've struggled with weight since I was pretty much, I can recall being in kindergarten, I was always, a little bit fatter than the kids. And uh, boy, did I ever get picked on for that. I also had full-blown eczema all over my body. So here I am, the scratchy lizard, fat guy, kid, I should say. And yeah, I, experienced, a bit of, shame of that and anger, uh, different things like that. And I can tell you, um, the way I learned to deal with it was kind of how I learned to deal with a loss too. When my grandfather died when I was 14, my grandmother came up to me, saw me crying, and she simply said, "Do not cry. He would not want to see you cry." And talk about the ultimate suck-in of emotion, anguish, loss, all of that. And I think I sucked in my spiritual side right with it because I was born with being able to see auras, and I could sense energy from things like crystals and um, that those types of things, and really got a sense of the energy body when there was nobody to talk to. There was I just thought it was how things were when I could see the color outlines of people, and I could have a sense of empathy and feel what they were feeling without saying a word. And a lot of these things I did through childhood up through my early teen years, and just thought that's what things were about. So uh, and I was always overweight, but I really didn't balloon much till after because my grandmother died 2 months after that day. Um, and I started, in my high school years, really gaining a lot more weight. I also went to an all boys Catholic high school. So, the image wasn't always the most important thing, stressed, in that situation, which, obviously didn't help in the early years and late teens of, interacting with, women and things like that. Got a crash course in college. I can talk about that another time. But the weight loss really peaked at, my middle to late teen years. And, I've tried things like, Atkins and different, gym memberships and programs, and, even went to Weight Watchers for a year. And, and a lot of these crash diets, where it's really strict. I did great for a while. And then in a lot of cases, I ended up not only gaining all that weight back, but actually gaining more in the long term. So these were not things that were working for me. And I've tried all kinds of different approaches, looked at surgery, looked at all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, you know, mind, heart, being, energy, these things were not being addressed. So it never stuck. And I could tell you, and even now I'm, fighting, an urge to go, who am I to be on this screen? Because, who am I to help you? Because, I'm not perfect. I am not skinny. But I can say I am more healthier than I've ever been. I'm going to lose at least another 50 pounds in 2020 uh, through making habits. Okay. I know we do resolutions. I know we sit there and say, okay, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to earn more money. I'm going to spend less money. And, a lot of these times we do this like at the night of New Year's Eve or the day of, or however you do it. But this year I'm doing a totally different approach, and I'm making habits, and I'm taking one at a time. So I'm going to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to make one day of the week, a fasting day where I focus on spirituality and interconnection, things like that. So I can tell you, there is definitely, a lot of emotional and mental anguish and stress, when things are out of whack. And for me, being heavier, I've been unhealthy at times. I've gotten sick easier. I've had more sinus infections or other things happen since I've lost 75 pounds. That has drastically changed. Apart from my son bringing home a bit of a flu bug or something, I am feeling much better. I have more energy. I also know I have more to go. And this is a constant state of being, so being present, being in the now. Because a lot of times when we get into weight loss and when we're trying to change our lives, we look at, I need to lose X amount of pounds. And if you were like me at 350 pounds at one point saying, wow, I got to lose, half a person, that could be daunting. It'd be very easy to sit there and focus on that. I need to lose weight instead of looking at what can I gain by living healthier. So we focus on that. Okay, I'm here. I need to be half my size. Go. And we kind of jump off that cliff without the wings, think we're going to grow them. And, a friend of mine, his name is Yoram, kind of talked to me about, we often jump off a cliff, and expect to grow wings. And that's not how it works. And even advised me that one of the best times a year to actually make resolutions, but I now do habits, is to make those around Thanksgiving, that day, that week where we're focused on gratitude and we're focused on, love and compassion, in a grateful and thankful way, for what we have and the people we know, and connecting with all that. That's a lot better of a mindset to come at with making those habits and those changes than a deadline to the last year. Oh, everybody's got to make a resolution. I better, so here it is. And it's basically half-assed. It's basically, I need to lose weight. I need a better job. I need a relationship. I need to connect with people more. You have to really break it down to something that's daily, weekly, monthly. I know people have talked, I know Brendan Bouchard talks about this all the time, with the planner, having it in there and basically, working backwards from it, to where you break it down to daily things. So like intermittent fasting for me, gallon of water per day, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, not going to bed any later than 11 p.m. Things like this are habits that I'm going to do, and I have a deadline, and it's in my calendar, it's planned out. So thank you, Brendan, for that. He's helped me a lot in the planning and organizing stages of, making habits. And, Tony Robbins was the guy who kind of, made that comment of, heal the boy, heal the man, and the boy inside me was definitely bruised and battered over my weight, over my inability to really express emotions, to really handle loss, to handle things. And I really want to help, serve you in that capacity. I don't want you to wait 20, 30 years going through, crazy, if somebody can actually help you. I didn't have people to help me at that time. My lesson that I learned here is you need to ask for help. You need to reach out. I didn't know how to. I was taught to kind of, you're a guy, you deal with it yourself. What do you need therapy for? Therapy or for women? I literally heard that from somebody in my family. Okay, so that is not a sexist statement. That is simply me just saying these are the things I was taught growing up. Now, being, born in in 1971, obviously the last 5 decades, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of things, but I was predominantly raised by my grandparents because my mother and my father divorced at the age of 3, and my mother was killing herself to support us, and her parents agreed to kind of have me come over and watch me while she's working her butt off, and God bless her, and I love her for all that she's ever done, and that type of mentality wasn't there for quite a while, and that was a missed opportunity. That could be a regret. You can really sit there and you go, wow, I didn't understand things like I do now, and I really appreciate all that she's done, what my grandparents have done, but I've also learned a couple things, from my grandparents, like they would never let me, you know, leave a plate unclean. I had to finish everything on it, and my grandmother was notorious for giving me seconds, because she said I was a growing boy. If I had a nickel for every time I heard the terms "he's a growing boy," I probably could own Microsoft right this minute. So we are taught a lot of things that become bad habits. My grandfather used to sleep often after he ate, and I picked up on that habit, and I did that too at a young age. That obviously didn't help with weight loss. It helped obviously with weight gain. So yes, you have to change habits, and I know for some people that kind of may not be in my position to sit there and go, well, you just eat less and do more, right? What's the problem? Okay. I wish it was that easy, and those that have struggled with weight can probably really relate and attest to, no, nothing is always that simple. Some things are, but not that. And especially when you're taught things, when your habits become a lifestyle, when talk yourself out of things easily, and you're doing things from an act of desperation, or yeah, I got to lose weight now, or else, and that's not a sustainable approach. And the thing that I really want to serve people about is finding that sustainable approach where you take that spiritual side of faith and compassion, empathy, love, appreciation, gratitude, mindfulness, being present in a moment, all those aspects that just really tie in that mental, emotional, and physical aspects of us that can help and sit there and say, with that in place, with me growing that, I can learn things to better all those other areas. And that is where I'm coming from. I will continue, to give you more stories, more insight, but, pretty much, the lessons that I'm teaching in this one is, don't wait to see what the lessons are. Try to learn from them immediately. Find and seek help. Get a buddy, get a mentor. If you need, therapy, if you need a doctor, please do it. I know insurances are crazy lately, and for some people that's going to be hard, but there are people that you can talk to, friends, networks and ways to connect that you can get some help, that even just having somebody listen to you, talking to myself more often, just so I can get it out, so I can, stop this whole life learned lesson of keeping it in, that I'm a guy. You got to suck it up, rub some dirt on it, get back out there and handle life. And it's not that easy, So I hope, this offers some insight, some help. I appreciate your time, and thank you. Many blessings to you and yours.